The stars aligning perfectly for Dallas. The CeeDee Lamb pick getting a ton of attention as he joins Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup to form one of the scariest receiver groups in the league. A solid draft from top to bottom. NFL.com giving them an A+ as they filled needs across the board. For more on the Cowboys' newest additions, here's George Shahuri from PFF.
They say good things come to those who wait. And in the 2020 NFL Draft, it was Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys who turned their patience into one of PFF's 4 A+ graded drafts when they snatched up wide receiver CeeDee Lamb at 17 and cornerback Trevon Diggs down at 51. CeeDee ranked 6th overall on PFF's big board and was the odds-on favorite to be the first wide receiver taken. His 90 PFF grade last season at Oklahoma was the best grade of any wide receiver picked in round 1. Despite this, Lamb fell 11 spots below his big board rank, making him the biggest bargain in the entire first round. Lamb gives the Cowboys one of, if not the most dynamic wide receiver trios in the NFL. This means a lot because Mike McCarthy used a 3 wide receiver set on over 80% of passing plays in his last season as the Packers head coach. Lamb gives the Cowboys more flexibility, allowing Amari Cooper to spend more time in the slot, where he averaged a ridiculous 18 yards per catch last season. Look, the Cowboys led the NFL in yards per pass play last year, and they just added one of the best offensive weapons in the whole draft. That being said, the Cowboys' biggest question mark was still their ability to cover after losing top 5 corner Byron Jones in free agency. Enter Trevon Diggs, who ranked 31st on PFF's big board and was often mocked by us to the Cowboys back up at 17. The uber-lengthy Diggs earned a PFF grade of 89 last year for the Crimson Tide and allowed a passer rating of below 45 when quarterbacks threw into his coverage. That is bad news for opposing QBs. The Cowboys have strengthened their potent passing offense and shored up their weakest link. If they weren't already on the Super Bowl radar, Jerry's yacht is certainly a strong contender to spend February docked in Tampa.
Thank you, George. Steve Smith Sr. and Bucky Brooks back in the house here. So, Steve, you add CeeDee Lamb to Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, Ezekiel Elliott. The Cowboys, I mean, they could have never imagined this happening to them. They have such an embarrassment of riches. Maybe they should always just draft from a yacht.
I mean, what you really see in CeeDee Lamb is outstanding, and you have to be excited to what you believe you can see in the Cowboys uniform compared to what he did in college. So unless you've been sheltering in place under a rock, I got a little film to show you why he can play so well and what he will do for the Cowboys. Now, his ability to stay focused on the ball and not get distracted is unbelievable. Then he also you have to be technically sound and be fundamental. But also, too, look at how many 5 to 6 little shepherds trying to get this young lamb. They have no chance. He goes up and gallops out of the way. His ability to catch the ball underneath and just turn on the jet or be slippery or just not be able to get his hands on them. You don't need a hit stick with CeeDee Lamb's in there. Man, he has that juke button. He turns on the jets, and it's nighttime, go to sleep because Hayes in the barn. He's an unbelievable player, and it's remarkable. Him falling to 17 is a godsend for the America's team, Cowboys.
No, I mean, you just don't find guys who can run with the ball like he can. I call him DeAndre Hopkins. Plus, I know Mike McCarthy is very excited to get a talented player like that.
Yeah, all the talk has been about CeeDee, but as you just heard in the PFF piece, the Cowboys were one of 4 teams that they graded as an A+ draft, and part of that was getting Trevon Diggs to offset the departure of Byron Jones, Bucky. So how did you feel about that move and that pick, that value pick in the 2nd round?
Well, I love the pick because I thought Trevon Diggs would be a first-round player. I thought he was worthy of being that. When you watched him on tape, there's a lot to like. He's long, he's rangy, does a good job of using his length to kind of shadow box wide receivers at the line of scrimmage. But as a former wide receiver, he has some of the best ball skills that you will find. Great instincts, natural hands, does a great job of creating turnovers. Mike Nolan has come in and taken over this defense, and creating turnovers is the priority. Well, Trayvon Diggs is going to help them get more turnovers. I love the pick. I love where he fits in the second round. I think he should be a starting corner early in his career.
So the Cowboys, they have new head coach and Mike McCarthy. Of course, they still have the lingering deal with Dak Prescott that they have to get done. But at this point, Steve, are the Cowboys the favorites not only in the NFC East, but in the entire NFC?
Well, as you know, I'm on Thursday Night Football with you, but I'm also on there with Michael Irvin. And so he has been persistent in brainwashing me with America's team and with CeeDee Lamb. I'm done. I just believe him. He's the guy, and he's taking him over the top. So after months and years of brainwashing me, Michael Irvin, you have got it. Hey, I'm a little slow on the trigger a little bit. So yes, Cowboys are favorite.
Oh, I think the Cowboys are well positioned to be title contenders coming out of the NFC. When you look at what Mike McCarthy likes to do, you heard Pro Football Focus allude to him being an 11 personnel, 3 wide receivers 80% of the time. Well, now when you think about that, the box either has to be loaded to defend Ezekiel Elliott, and then you have to deal with one-on-one with Lamb, Gallup, and Cooper, or you try and double cover one of those guys, and Ezekiel Elliott eats. I think from an offensive standpoint alone, they can score a ton of points, and that's going to give them a chance to be there at the end of the year.
Woo, they're going to need a chance. I mean, look, you got the 49ers that improved. You got the Saints with their thick roster that they have. The Seahawks, the Vikings. This NFC, it's looking pretty good, you guys. But, of course, the Cowboys are now moving on up in the rankings. We shall see what happens. Bucky, Steve.